So, Matthew, when you're buying a real estate, how do you consider this is a good investment? What approach do you take?
This is all I've done since I was 18. I'm 34. And so I can kind of understand real estate very quickly as far as, hey, what's the price? What's the motivation? And with those factors, I can tell you if I want to do the deal or not.
I understand that you're so passionate about what you do, and I'm just curious to know what was the best deal you've ever closed and what makes it so special.
Yeah, I just closed a 452 unit apartment in San Antonio, Texas. Biggest deal we've ever done, most challenging deal we've ever done.
What did you learn from that deal?
So there's a lot of small little things in that, learning how to talk to investors, learning how, brokers operate, learning how after you close, people treat you differently, things like that. But the big one was the negotiation that was still on the table when they made it seem like it was not.
I guess the leverage was the time, I would assume.
That was actually our leverage. So we could close it in January or February, but it's going to be a different deal. I got two boys. They're 7 years old and 5 years old. And so I want to have a really good impact on them and be a great dad and be a great husband.
We're joined by someone whose story is rooted in perseverance, humility, and long-term vision. Our guest is Matthew Tiefke, real estate entrepreneur, investor, and founder of Tiefke Real Estate. Matthew's success didn't come from overnight wins. It was shaped by watching his mom do whatever it took to provide, cleaning houses, building slowly, and teaching him that real wealth is built through patience, discipline, and persistence. Those lessons became the foundation for how he approaches business today. Now leading a multi-company real estate platform, Matthew focuses on cash flow, legacy assets, and building something that lasts, not just for himself, but for his family and the people around him. He stayed grounded through growth, committed to reinvesting, and intentional about impact. This episode is about the long game, in business, in family, and in life.
So why did you choose real estate as your primary source of investment?
My mom. I had a single mom. She raised my brother and me. And my dad was good guy, but kind of in and out. And my mom raised us. And she moved to Austin, Texas when I was 3 years old. And she literally started cleaning houses as a job. And I remember being at houses and she's cleaning them. And fast forward 16 years later, I'm going to high school and young man. And my mom built a portfolio of 17 rental properties. And
Wow.
That's a lot,
Yeah.
It's a lot for a single mom to raise two boys and do a good job. But then to have a job and to buy real estate. And so she's an inspiration to me. And she's always done everything to support and help me. And she showed me that anybody can do anything. I've never come across somebody who had a good excuse after me seeing that and understanding that. And it also showed me what it looks like to own rental properties. So I got started because of my mom.
So, Matthew, I saw a video of you. I think you were trying to buy a RV place, and I think you were cleaning up the area regardless of if you were going to buy it or not. I found it very interesting. So what is the mindset and approach for buying real estate or any kind of land or units?
I'm looking for all the factors, right? Like growth and cash flow and long-term thinking. So what can I have 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, 50 years, my kids, just long-term. And I'm always looking for real sellers. Whenever they're a real seller, they're going to get on there and they're going to make a deal happen. And it's not this game of offer, don't hear back. It's like, hey, you're a seller, I'm a buyer. Let's get on this phone call and get off the phone call with something being done. So I look for sellers in that way. I have a real estate brokerage in Austin, and I've got a lot of deal flow, man. And the key for me has always been extremely long thinking with everything that I'm doing, even with hopefully meeting you guys and coming on this podcast. But I'm looking for cash flow and growth markets and things that I can continue to buy and then buy the next thing. So I'm not trying to buy a restaurant and I got to go work there and live there and I can't do anything else. So it's like, how can I capture value and be efficient to continue to capture more value?
So Matthew, when you're buying a real estate, how do you consider this is a good investment? What approach do you take?
There's a lot of different things I think about, but it starts with the motivation. And this is all I've done since I was 18. I'm 34. And so I can kind of understand real estate very quickly as far as, hey, what's the price? What's the gross rent? What's the motivation? And with those three factors, I can tell you if I want to do the deal or not. Location as well. But with those four things, I know if I want to do it or not within 10 minutes.
Is Austin area your primary area of focus, or do you also source any other areas in US or outside of US?
A lot of my focus is on people. And so I'm constantly trying to bring people together. And it's like my spirit, my soul wants to build and bring people and unite people in a real way. And I do want to make money and I do like assets, but I'm like thinking of it as a spiritual thing. I'm a believer in God and a believer in Jesus, and like that's my like core motivation. And so like bringing people and having forgiveness and connecting with them is where I start. And that leads to opportunities that require faith, but also that I never thought about. So I bought RV park in Arkansas last year. I bought a retail building in Pace, Florida. I'm buying an apartment in Conroe, Texas. I bought apartments in San Antonio. I bought one in Austin. And so, and the RV park that you mentioned. And so it comes from, my focus is on people. And then I can do those quick numbers that I mentioned to you to see if I like the deal and if I want to partner with those people. I love Austin. I love Central Texas. But because of that focus that I'm talking about, it leads me to like new things and new markets based on who I'm meeting.
It's really interesting, Matthew. I'm just curious, why do you care about people? Because that's my primary focus and primary value as well. I'm just interested to hear your perspective.
Well, from a selfish reason, I need help. I need more people. I need help. But when I tell you like the spiritual side and God, that's very important to me. I don't have it all figured out. Like I don't have all the answers with that, right? But God wants to have a relationship with us. Like that's why we're on this earth, is to have a relationship with God. And so having relationships with people is an important thing, right? Like everything in this life is relationship based. You guys know this, everybody knows this, but I fall short every day, but to keep things in perspective of like, if I become a billionaire or whatever it is, none of it matters if my wife doesn't respect me, if my kids don't respect me, if my friends don't respect me, if people that I meet, like you guys, don't respect me. And so I just want to have an impact in that way. And I was at my grandpa's funeral 7-8 years ago and just seeing the way that people talked about him. And I was like, man, if this could be my funeral, like, then I've won at life. It had nothing to do with his net worth. So to me, I think about it that way. And then I hope that the money follows it. I need it to follow it to survive. I'm not retired, right? But it's not my main objective. And if my whole goal was to make as much money as possible, I probably wouldn't be on this podcast. I'd probably be living in New York City or Dubai. I probably wouldn't be married, right? All these things. But like, that's not my goal or my focus.
Matthew, so I have a question about the 10X program and your involvement with Grant Cardone, and I want to know why you joined and what did you learn from the program so far, and how did it impact, I guess, you in your real estate business?
Interesting story. I was not a big fan of Grant 6-7 years ago, and I appreciate you saying that about me being humble. And that kind of leads to why I wasn't a fan. I didn't think that Grant was like that. I was also judgmental. I shouldn't judge him or anybody for that, right? But I won a TV show that Grant did in Austin, Texas. He came on a show, and I didn't even sign up to be a part of it. Like I told you, I wasn't a fan. But I won, and then I got involved, and I started showing up to the events, and Grant's just built me up, man, in a big way. Like I'm going to Arizona in a couple of days for a real estate event, and Grant will pull me up on stage, and he'll text me back and he'll call me back, and so I'm blessed to have met him. I had been doing real estate for 10 years before I got in that community. So I haven't learned a tremendous amount of the education side, but I have learned from watching Grant and seeing how he operates and how he runs his business, and just the people that he brings together for me, has, like, us meeting and meeting other people in the community, has been a massive blessing, man. And so I keep showing up, and it's a beautiful thing. It's easy to, people are always going to judge leaders like Grant, like I judged him. And that's just how it is. You're going to judge your pastor. You're going to judge the president of the United States. But when you get around him and what he's building, if you plug in and you think long term, like, there's opportunity everywhere.
I understand that you're so passionate about what you do, and I'm just curious to know, what was the best deal you've ever closed and what makes it so special?
Yeah, I just closed a 452 unit apartment in San Antonio, Texas. And I did it with my two brothers, not blood brothers, but my partners that I've known for my whole life. Biggest deal we've ever done, most challenging deal we've ever done. And closing that deal put our company on another stage. That's a big deal to close. And so now we're not like having to like convince people that we're capable as much. So that was it was a money-making deal too. We had 6 investors. We raised $6.5 million, and now we're operating it, man. So it got us a lot of momentum. It is the type of thing that Grant's doing, similar kind of structure where we're syndicating it and people invest capital with us. And so that was the biggest one, man. 452, San Antonio, Texas, called Missionette Medical. And we've got 3 more that we're working on right now. So that domino allows us to really get some more momentum moving forward.
And Matthew, I think you had a post saying I learned a lot from this deal, and I think you said I'm going to share that, but I probably missed the story or your experience that you gained after going through such a massive purchase and deal. What did you learn from that deal?
Man, a lot. At the very end of it all, we closed the last day of the year, and we had no idea if we were going to close it or not. Like, no idea. And it's the only thing I've been working on for 10 months, right? And we get the settlement statement from the title company, and it says seller has to bring $1.6 million to the table to close it. And the seller says, I'm not doing it. Like, you can foreclose on me, right? That's what he's telling the bank. So seller's not doing it. Bank's not waiving the fees. So then they're coming to us. They're like, if you want to own it, you got to pay an extra $1.6 million, which we could have actually, and the deal could have still worked, but we just held the line and we said, this is not really our problem to solve, right? This is not money owed by us; it's owed by the seller. And I and maybe some people think of banks and institutions as these like robots and these machines, and they're not going to cave. They don't care, right? But they do. And they ended up taking half of it off the table, and the seller brought half of it to the table to close. And so they met in the middle, and we ended up closing 5 minutes before the end of the year, which we needed to close last year to get the tax write-offs. So just that negotiation process was big, knowing that banks can negotiate, knowing that sellers will utilize leverage every second they can to, everybody was using leverage to get us to pay it. And we held the line, and it worked out. And, next day, other challenges pop up, right? But learning about, getting the capital together, having the patience, just even in general, like the 10-month process was we were doing a loan assumption, which is a whole nother, like, very tricky way to close these deals right now, as opposed to just getting a new loan. So there's a lot of small little things in that, learning how to talk to investors, learning how, brokers operate, learning how after you close, people treat you differently, things like that. But the big one was the negotiation that was still on the table when they made it seem like it was not.
I guess the leverage was the time, I would assume.
Oh, yes, but that was actually our leverage. We used that because we were telling them, like, if you don't close by the end of the year, then we're not getting the same advantage for our investors. So, like, we could close it in January or February, but it's going to be a different deal. So because we had that timeline, and, like, dude, nobody wants to work on the last day of the year, right? It was like everybody was just, like, pushing it through to make it work. Like, they were, like, doing things that they wouldn't normally do to get the deal done.
So Matthew, I understand that you're investing in real estate a lot, and I'm just curious to know, what do you think real estate will go from now until 10 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I think about where it is heading, I think about specific markets, right? So I don't think about, like, on a national standpoint, because it doesn't really apply to me. But I think about Austin, Texas, and San Antonio, where I'm at. And these are great places. Austin's a very special place. It's got a vibe to it that the entrepreneur can thrive here. And there's been a national negativity towards Austin from a real estate perspective because Austin got so hot and so competitive, and now everyone's like, what's happening with Austin, and, rents are declining, and all these little things like that, which they're all true, but that's just super short term, right? We're in Texas. It's one of the largest economies in the world, and we're in the coolest city in Texas, and jobs and people continue to move here, and they always will. And so there's this little short term adjustment, but I think that's close to over, if not already over, and now things are moving again, and it's hot again. And over a 10, 20, 30 year period, like, I tell everybody, I would never bet against Austin, Texas, or San Antonio, Texas, because they're going to continue to grow.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think a lot of Canadians are also moving down there, and a lot more are talking about it to move their investment there.
Cool. I'm unaware of that, but that sounds good. It's a good place to be, man. There's a sense of freedom the closer you get to Austin, Texas.
Yeah, and the vibe, right? So it's definitely a cool place as well. Yeah. I have a different question here, Matthew. You've done really well yourself, and you've been doing this for so long. But if you go back and let's say you have not so much money, right? Maybe like, a few $1,000s. And if someone wants to get into real estate with that amount, and like someone young, and where do they start?
Give me a call, man. I mean, I'm serious about that, but you want to find people that you respect and that you look up to, and you want to get plugged in with them and help them, right? And so you start with that. You start with really thinking about everything you do as a 10-year, 20-year process, right? The conversations, all the things. And you start asking great questions, not basic questions. All basic questions can be found online, right? And so, like, I was always thinking, if I had the opportunity to be around people that knew what they were doing, I want to be prepared to have 3 or 4 great questions. And not only that, I wanted to ask them a question that, like, they couldn't answer. So to simplify, find great people, ask great questions, think very long term, and take a lot of action every day. And like if you're not getting, because this takes so long, like all these deals take so long to put together, and then they take so long to make money. And so if you're not getting a lot of momentum every day, then it's not going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. You're just going to be in the same position. So having that as a perspective and just caring, right? I used to type in on Google the word real estate, like in the morning, at lunch, and at dinner, like different articles would pop up. And I would just read them, like just because I cared. And nobody told me to do that, right? And so that's just the level of like, how bad do you want it and how much do you care?
So, Matthew, you told me that you're holding weekly meetings with investors. I'm just curious if that's still going on.
Yeah, we did one yesterday. It's so special.
Why are you doing that? And what's the benefit of it?
I get a lot of benefit from it. I'm building a lot of trust. I enjoy it. I'm giving back. And I'm getting people to invest with us. I'm finding new partners. And I'm able to lead. I like leading. I don't need to be in charge or the leader, but I like to lead. And I feel like I have something in me that I need to get out, like a way of going about real estate and bringing people closer to God.
How did you come up with this idea, and how many people are joining this meeting?
There was about 78 people yesterday.
Wow.
The email list is like 800 plus. I invite everybody I talk to every day, and I tell them, hey, this isn't the Matthew Teifke show, right? Like, I'm here to lead and to plug in, but if you got something to say, like, come on up, right? And it's a reckless abandon of giving value. Like, this is like a small example, and I'm still figuring this out and constantly evolving it, but I had a guy come and he had a tequila company. And he pitched his company and he raised like multiple $100,000. And I didn't charge him for that, right? I probably could have, and I also might have been taking out capital that could have came to my deal, right? Mm-hmm. But by like giving everything I have in a real way and in a meaningful, impactful way, that hits people's souls differently than most people experience on a real estate call or on a Zoom call. And that's what I'm after. Like, I'm trying to buy apartments and I care and I believe my deals are as good as anybody, but I would rather be real and have an impact and not sit up here and say, everything in my life is perfect. Give me all your money and you're going to be just like me, because I don't have it figured out and I need help as well. But at a detriment of like getting the money together, I'd rather like speak to your soul if I can. And I need you to speak to my soul too, right? And so I just want to have a real impact in a real way, the best that I possibly can.
How would someone join your weekly meeting?
I just need their email. They can text me. I can give my number out here if you want, or they can, look me up. MattTeifke@gmail is my email. And I get their email, I put it on the list, and then I just send it out once a week. And we have a really good time, man.
That takes me to the next question here, Matthew. So what is the 10 years plan for you, and how do you make sure you're on track?
Really just being a little bit better every day. Like, really, that's what I think about now. And I got 2 boys. They're 7 years old and 5 years old. And, in 10 years from now, they'll be leaving the house, right? Maybe. And so I want to have a really good impact on them and be a great dad and be a great husband. And that's number one. As far as business goes, like I'd love to have, 10 times the amount of units I have now and be paying out investors and, making a lot more friends through that and bringing people to Christ. So all that being said is like, I also have the faith of trying to hear from God, like, what do I need to do and listen? And that could, maybe I sell everything and do something else. I don't know. So it's just trying to do the best I can daily and feel good about what I do and have a good, like, proud day. Like, I had a good day today. I gave it my all. And now I'm going to go be with my family. Like, then I'm good. Like, I'm 34, man. I don't know if you know this or I talked about it, with you before, but I lost $4 million of my own money on one publicly traded marijuana company. And I've never lost money in real estate. I made that money myself and I lost it. And it almost killed me. Like that's something that very few people ever have, or a feeling that anyone understands. I was making money and I wasn't buying Ferraris or $1 million houses. I was buying real estate. And then I was also putting it into this publicly traded company. And I studied it. I knew the founders. I read all the filings. Like I wasn't trying to gamble. And I was losing like $30, $40, $50, $60,000 a day for 4 years. And it killed my soul. It killed my momentum. It made me feel like a failure. And after going through that and now being 34, I kind of feel like I have a business level or experience of like a 44 or 54-year-old person, because I was obsessed with all of it. And I just feel good to be humbled and be where I'm at and try to share. I shared that story, and I actually got a comment today. There's a video that you can find if people want to look it up. But this guy wrote like a 3 or 4 paragraph comment and how much that had meaning to him because he's been there too. And so that's a side story here, but it's just a humbling experience that made me just feel good to be here right now and not be dead.
Yeah, I think those stories, Matthew, is probably why you're doing better now, right? So you go down and you see the worst, and then you come out of it stronger. And I think anyone successful in this world, they definitely have a few stories of losing everything they have, or family, or something, right? And then that will give them the definition of what could go wrong. And then they start thinking better and they start pushing harder, and then they know. Because when I was 19, I had multiple businesses, and I remember the mindset was, I have like another 30 years ahead of me. I mean, if I lose everything, so be it. And then I start again. But then when I lost it, I realized that was a big loss for years and years, and took me a lot of time to get back on feet. And since then, all these lesson learns are all like the principles of everything we do and what not to do. So
yes.
Those stories are definitely strong.
Yeah. So I agree with you. We all go through different things, and my whole point is I want to talk about it. Somebody said, let your skeletons dance. And I don't know exactly what that means or what that means to you, but to me, what that means is like, share the things that are tough on you and that held you back, and that's how you have more of an impact.
So Matthew, earlier you mentioned that you were investing in a stock, but now you're just focusing on real estate, with the understanding that a lot of people are saying you should diversify your investment. Are you still just focusing on real estate, or would you consider investing in stock market as well?
Yeah, well, everyone's different, so take it with a grain of salt. But like, the reason I feel like I lost that money is because I was diversifying. Like, I've never lost money in real estate because this is what I do and what I know. So I think for some people, diversification is great. For people like me, which is like risk taker, go big or go home type guy, is like, I just wish I would have bet that $4 million on myself. because I know that it would have turned out much differently.
So real estate isn't doing really well. Currently, real estate isn't doing really well in Canada, and a lot of people are uncertain with the understanding that you're just investing in real estate even now. I understand Austin market is a little bit different, but what advice would you give those people who are considering to purchase in uncertain times right now in Canada?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, what I think of is people playing the politics game and just talking to talk and, you know, hearing things and not thinking for themselves. Because in real estate, you always got to be ready. Like, you don't know what you're going to come across. And every deal is unique, right?
What do you mean by ready or being ready?
If you want to be finding good deals, you've got to have them they got to be coming to you, right? Like, you have to be thinking you're a real buyer and having deal flow. Because if you just sit back and you're like, I'm not buying, I'm not talking to anybody, I'm not looking for anything, when things change, you're too late. You're already out of the game. You're not going to all of a sudden start getting things. So be ready in the sense of, like, whether you're buying or not, everybody else thinks you're buying, right? Because you got to have things coming to you and people know you're active and people to think of you as a buyer. And once you get out of that and you lose the momentum, it's really hard to get back into that. So that's what I mean by being ready. And then, like, whether the rents are declining or the prices are declining or this or that, every deal you look at is its own deal. And there's an individual person or entity maybe that owns this company, and they're selling it for a reason. And the way you structure that deal, and, you know, it's like, if rents are declining by 80%, but you buy this property for $2, it's still a great deal, right? That's just an extreme example. But the national overarching trends aren't as relevant when you're, like, deeply entrenched in the game and you're seeking opportunities with a long-term mindset, and it doesn't really matter if rents go down a little bit for the next 6 months. So that's my advice, is, like, don't get caught up in, you know, everyone says not to buy. It's like, that's fine, but, like, are you looking at deals? You know? And if you're not, then you're never going to be able to buy anything.
Tell me about who had the biggest impact on your success, and where is your inspiration coming from?
From my mom, man. My mom was the single mom that bought properties. She was cleaning the houses, and she's a good person, man. She knows everybody. She talks to everybody. She's retired, but she goes and takes care of older people every day. Like, just a good person, you know? And she instilled a work ethic in me that's just there. I just saw her do it. You know, when you're waking up at 4 a.m., raising 2 boys, going to a job, you're on 3 cell phones. You know, me and my brother played all the sports. We didn't lack for anything. Somehow she pulled that all off. And so I have a responsibility to make all that not a waste. And then if I can pass that on to somebody else or support somebody else, I will. I tend to give people everything I have to a fault. I'm still trying to figure that out. You know, I care more than most people care about real estate because it's hard. You know, there's like 1 in 100 or 1,000 that I'm aware of that are really pulling stuff off in a real way. And you have to talk to those other 999, you know, and they're good people, you know, but they're just not doing what's required. And so I have to balance that. But my mom would have always helped and would have cared, and, you know, would have asked you how your family's doing and stuff like that, and not just like, you know, how much money are we making together kind of deal. But I'm trying to be better at that, and I look up to her for that.
So, Matthew, you're a very humble and authentic person. I'm just curious to know if you've ever been in a situation that people try to take advantage of you being so humble and genuine.
Yeah. I don't know how to answer it exactly, but like, for example, I just try to be me, and we're all normal people, right? And so I know that. And I just try not to change. Y'all were on the cruise, right? With Cardone?
Yeah.
And I respect everybody there, but for me, where I come from, we're in the back and they're like playing a certain type of music, and I don't judge that music. I like it, but I'm like, let's get some Texas country on around here, And I'm in a different vibe in the Miami rap music stuff. It's cool, but I need some Texas country, man. And so I just try to be myself. You can't be anything other than that. I can't fake it if I tried to be super fancy. And I don't know. So I don't know if people judge me or not, but I do know that I believe that what I'm doing is having an impact. I get a lot of people that tell me. And so for example, if Grant brings me up on stage in Arizona, which they told me that he is, and he's done that before, but I'm not going to be different than I am. I just can't. I'm not even going to dress different than I dress. And I do think some of that comes from Austin. Austin is different in that way. And I don't fit in Dallas, Texas. Dallas is fancy. And Austin's not. There's people here, and I'm not, like I told you, I'm not retired. I still have to make money. But there's billionaires and multimillionaires all over Austin, and they wear sandals and shorts, and they don't think, they don't act like they're special, and that you don't really see that in Dallas or maybe Miami. I'm not sure. But this is the culture that I'm in too. And I think
I was going to say it's a culture that Matthew is representing Austin really well in that sweet culture and the vibe that everybody loves.
And if I can help you guys or the listeners, I know real estate very, very well. I've done property management, real estate brokerage. I'm buying a lot of properties. I bought laundromats and RV parks and apartments and houses and retail buildings, and so I have a lot to pass on there, and I want to. I want to help people with what I have, and just be a leader. And God is real, and Jesus saves, and if I can give people hope, I want to do that.
That's great, Matthew. Thank you so much